By 1992, Jean Grey appears to be a model of stability within the X-Men. She handles her telekinetic and telepathic abilities with a level of precision that suggests absolute mastery. But that stability is just a facade. In 1975, an 8-year-old Jean accidentally triggered the car crash that killed her mother, and convincing Jean she was the sole survivor. While Jean feels stable, the internal pressure of repressed trauma builds, held back only by Xavier's psychic vault. The trigger arrives during a high-orbit rescue mission. A massive wave of solar flare-like energy violently strikes Jean, forcing her to absorb the cosmic force. This energy doesn't just empower Jean, it floods her system, multiplying her existing psychic potential to a level that her consciousness was never designed to handle. Under this immense cosmic weight, Xavier's mental blocks suffer a total structural failure, instantly pulverizing the barriers keeping Jean's childhood memories in check. The released trauma and new cosmic energy merge into an uncontainable storm as she relives her past with godlike power. Back on Earth, Jean's psyche begins to fragment. She experiences a rapid onset of acute PTSD symptoms as the emotions of a grieving 8-year-old collide with her adult reality. The cosmic energy is simply the catalyst. The catastrophic damage is actually being done by the sudden, uninhibited release of the trauma Xavier attempted to bury decades ago. Jean's search for stability leads her back to her childhood home, where she discovers the final piece of Xavier's lie. Her father is alive. He survived the crash, but he chose to abandon her. This betrayal completely shatters her remaining control. When the X-Men arrive to help, Jean's grief manifests as a violent telekinetic shockwave that repels everything in its path, accidentally killing Raven. Trauma isolates. Desperate for a way to stop the pain, Jean seeks refuge with Magneto on Genosha, but her volatile state makes her a liability. Magneto banishes her, leaving her completely alone. This isolation makes her the perfect subject for exploitation. Vuk, leader of the Debari, finds Jean in her most vulnerable state and begins to manipulate her, framing her power as a gift rather than a burden to serve the Debari's own ends. By cutting Jean off from her support networks, her trauma has left her uniquely susceptible to anyone offering a sense of belonging, even if that validation is a trap. The fallout from Xavier's deceptions spreads like a contagion, tearing the X-Men apart from within. Beast, consumed by grief over Raven, allies with Magneto. Their objective shifts from saving a friend to eradicating a threat. They intend to kill Jean before she can do more damage. Xavier and Cyclops lead a desperate rescue effort, but they are still operating under the old philosophy of suppression, hoping to find a way to contain the Phoenix Force rather than helping Jean process it. These two factions violently collide in New York City. The civil war between mutants draws in government troops, escalating a personal tragedy into a full-scale public crisis. A single suppressed memory has scaled into a global catastrophe. The inability to face a painful truth has sparked a war that threatens the survival of every mutant on the planet. The conflict reaches a breaking point on a military transport train. Both mutant factions are captured and neutralized, leaving them defenseless when the Debari launch a final, violent ambush. Faced with an alien ambush, the internal war between the X-Men becomes a luxury they can no longer afford. They must work together to survive. Inside the chaos, the final barrier falls. Jean initiates a psychic connection with Xavier, reading his memories to see the unfiltered truth of her father's abandonment and Xavier's misguided attempts to protect her. Jean makes a choice that Xavier never could. She faces the memory of the car crash without turning away, choosing to forgive the man who lied to her and embrace the child she was taught to forget. By looking directly at the memory she spent decades avoiding, Jean effectively ends the internal war that was destabilizing her. The immense power is no longer a chaotic force she is fighting, but a tool she is finally ready to hold. With a mind that is finally whole, Jean's control becomes absolute. She dismantles the Debari threat with effortless precision, saving her friends before carrying Vuk into the vacuum of space. In this moment, Jean transforms into a being of radiant fire. The Phoenix is no longer a monster she's trying to suppress. It's the shape she takes when she finally stops fighting her own history. The aftermath is defined by this new transparency. The school is renamed in Jean's honor, while Xavier retires to Paris, reconciling with Magneto over a game of chess in a world that finally knows the truth. Jean Grey's journey demonstrates that suppression is a temporary fix for a permanent problem. Mastery of oneself isn't found in a psychic vault. It's found in the radical honesty of acceptance.
And that's how the incredible story comes to an end. Every decision, every sacrifice, and every battle led to this unforgettable finale. If you enjoyed this movie recap, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more detailed movie explanations and cinematic story recaps. Also, hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next movie recap.